G'day, and welcome back to that new Hobby High, Ultramarines from scratch, episode, fuck if I know. It's been a freaking a week where I haven't been able to spend much fucking time in the hobby. Unfortunately, I only got 3.5 hours done this week. Yesterday, which was my big hobby day, I actually had to do a DM a 15th level Dungeons & Dragons campaign for a mate Bucks Night. And I've got no throat left. I am hoarse, I'm dry, I'm tired, and because I was, doing that, I wasn't able to freaking push forward with this as much as I would have liked. So if you don't see a lot of progression, forgive me, but that's the reason. I've got a social life, I've got to do me social things as well. So where do we start? All right, let's have a look at this. I went and bought the most unpopular fucking thing that Horus Heresy has produced. I went and bought 2 packets of these to Spoiler Squad upgrades. And here's a fucking flash. I think they're fucking great. I think they're brilliant. You can get more than 5 out of them, obviously. You got the big double-handed sword, which in the list is a free upgrade, I think 2-point upgrade. And you can lock the power axe, and you just get the plasma pistol out of the other fella, and you get another chap, and then you got your 5 normal dudes. So you can literally get 5, 6, 7 people out of it. I don't think that's too bad. Obviously, it's not as good as having a pack of 10, but I don't mind them. They're clean, they're nice, they're good shape. The swords are unique compared to all the other ones, like the Mark IIIs and the Mark IV swords. Do require a little bit of cleaning in here, though, and each of the teeth need plicking out. But other than that, I don't mind them. I did make the foolish mistake of trying to apply logic to fucking using this double-handed sword thing in a beaky helmet. That was a mistake. I found myself pondering it for way too long, considering it's a plastic toy. But if you consider that his head, you wear this fucking thing, your head, give it focus, you fucker thing. Here we go. Gonna focus? You're gonna be a fucking dick. There we go. Try that. Here we go. You fucking thing. All right. So he's got a beaky helmet there, right? So if you think that'd be maybe 4 inches in front of your nose. 4 inches in front of your nose, that big. Right? So if you were waving your arms around, say your arm had armour on it this much, your nose sticking up this far, if you moved your arm around, you're going to hit your nose on the nose of the helmet on your arm, swinging it about. It's really going, and that's not including the big ass shoulder pads and backpack and everything else. It's really going to stop you from freaking moving as fluidly. But, then I freaking stepped back and thought, why the fuck am I applying fucking physical logic to a obviously fantasy game? And I kicked myself in the arse, and I just fucking progressed on with them, making the rest of them. But yeah, I think it's an odd call. You would not be anywhere near as fluid or as, movement-wise with a fucking beaky helmet as opposed to, one of the ones the Imperial Fists have or a stub-nosed one. Anyway, that aside, I also got a free bonus. Look at this. This came free with the packet. I didn't order this. I checked the docket. I didn't buy it. But fuck, I'm not saying no. Should I send it back? Maybe I should send it back. It's the Exorcist, the Traitor Exorcist console. Now, remember when this came out, people were salty as fuck that the sleeve looked painted. But if you actually have a look at it, it's actually quite deep. The bloke who painted it made it look like that somehow, which probably says freaking more for his painting skills than anything else. Yeah, it's no deep than any other freaking sleeve or robe. It actually looks all right. Don't know what I'm going to do with it, but yeah, got one of those now. Woohoo! I've did all the base stuff of the flamer unit. Freaking they're coming along. I've just started bringing up the colours after the ink wash. So only got one done. I've only spent 20-30 minutes on that. But the most part of my time has been on this Xiphon. So yeah, it's been dark inked, and then it's been brought up to McCrag Blue, and then Thousand Suns, and then white coated, clear coated, and then I got all the labels off it to bring out the lines, put on the decals. It's coming along very fucking nicely. It's not there yet. Once these decals are dry, it'll get another clear coat, and then I'll give it a pin wash, and then I'll do the highlighting and chipping, and then I'll give another matte clear coat, and it'll be ready to friggin' see the table. And this is how I imagine it'll go. Xiphon on the table, turn 1. Xiphon in the ground, shooting turn 1. That's how I imagine it'll go. I reckon I'll get one fucking shot off with it. Maybe. And that's if I go first. If I don't go first, I think this is going to be in the ground before it gets its 20 inches. But, yeah, it's coming along all right. Yes, I know the wings are backwards, but I still think it looks sleek. I think it looks nice. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm happy with it. It's nice painting a vehicle every now and then. You do get so bored just painting the same 5 fucking poses with your Marines. The other thing is... the Spartans coming along nicely. The white's all put in. The pinstripe and gold underneath the white is all put in. And this is the top-down white, which I've sprayed on the top here. It gives when I put the blue on, it'll give it a bit more fucking depth. That'll come along. But basically, I got too much shit on the table. And because I got too much shit, I'm splitting my attention. I'm fucking doing a little bit here and doing a little bit there, doing a little bit over there. And nothing's getting fucking completed. So, yeah, it's other than that, everything's coming along gun. Now, brace yourself, because here is coming up next is my review of this book, the 6th book in the Horus Heresy Horus Heresy series called The Descent of Angels by Michael Scanlon. Scanlon? And, yeah, because I just finished this a couple of days ago. Busy. I'm a busy man. I've got shit to do. I've got family, I've got work. And it was a hell of a change of pace from the rest of the novels. Where the rest of them, it was all at the end of the Crusade, and Horus just turning to be a dick and started the Horus Heresy. This is set before the Crusade, before the Emperor's even bloody really on scene, and it's about a planet called Caliban, where the Lionel Johnson, I think his name is he's basically grew up there, and he's a knight. He's going around, he's killing all these big monsters that's in the bush. So, and the story follows a couple of young fellas who want to be knights. So they're training and learning how to do their sword fighting and guns. It's sort of like a weird mix of medieval swords, chain swords, and guns, but like with medieval like horses, knights on guns. It's a cool fucking concept, if I'm honest. Anyway, it's they progress. One of them's a little bit better than the other, spiking some sort of little bit of argy-bargy between the two. One of the main characters, Zariel, mates, gets killed. So he goes off and hunts this thing called a Calibanite lion. While he kills it, he finds he awakened a psychic power within him, which makes the critters he wants to kill invisible, so he knows where to stab them. Then he becomes a knight. They do a siege of another castle, which is actually probably one of the best bits in the book, if I'm honest. The siege of the castle with medieval weapons and explosives. Fucking had me by the seat of me pants. It was absolutely brilliant. And then after all that drama, the lion freaking kills all the beasts. The lion and his knights kill all the beasts on the planet. And then the Emperor's armies come. Land and freaking what the fuck's going on? They don't know. These big superhumans, bigger than the knights, rock up. And they say, oh, come in peace. We're here looking for Lion. And the bloke goes, oh, I'm Lion. He says, oh, Lion, are you? He says, yep, your dad's coming. Fuck. Okay, well, better put on a bit of a tea for him. Someone tries to blow up the tea, and Zariel tackles him. They find out he's a psycho, and he becomes a space marine. In the middle of that, one curious bit, and I know I highlighted, but I can't seem to find it. One curious bit is right at the very start here, when Zariel's talking to a marine. He mentions that there are 20 legions, not 18. Fucking, I don't know where it is. I know I highlighted 20 legions, not 18. So at this timeline, the two that no one talks about, the second, and the whatever other one is, they're still up and in the game. But here in this one they're still up and in the game. But the Horus Heresy, they're not. So I'm guessing that's a part of one of the books. What happens to those two? Maybe. I've got a vague memory that someone told me that it's been left vague. Anyway, the book progresses and they all become Space Marines and they go off to war on a different planet where they meet the White Scars, and the White Scar says, don't trust people on this planet, they're dicks. The people on the planet turn out to be dicks and they worship a monster from the demons. Zariel kicks the monster in the dick. There's a bomb sent to the spaceship with the lions on. Luther finds it and tries to ignore it, thinking if he kills Luther, he's going to be the big dick. Gets a pang of guilt and freaking throws the bomb overboard. They kill the Zariel kills the demon monster thing on the planet, and then at the end of the book, for no reason, him, Luther, and a bunch of other Dark Angels are fucking getting sent back to Caliban, and they're salty as fuck for it. I had to read the ending 3 fucking times to figure out what the fuck's going on. They're like, you just killed everything. He's obviously doing well. And then, oh yeah, all of a sudden he's in a Stormbird, which I assume is a plane, heading back. What the fuck? Anyway, I've had a quick look in the other list, and there is, looks like there's a sequel to this, so maybe that'll explain it a little bit better. Good book, an interesting look at the freaking pre-Emperor world. It does sound like the moment the Emperor landed, they just freaking bulldozed the forest and fucked up the planet anyway. But yeah, good book, didn't mind it, and now I'm currently reading Legion. Oh my goodness, that's a fucking book and a half. I love that one. Anyway, I'll spruik on about that when I'm done with it. This is all I've got done. I've only done 3.5 hours of painting, and most of it's been on the plane. I'll have more for you next week. I guarantee the flamers will be 90% done. This will look so much more impressive. Might even be on a stand. I'll catch you all next week. Love the lot of yous. Give your missus a kiss, and I'll see yous all later. Cheerio.